Welcome to our next webinar on the National Disaster Resilience Competition for CDBG NDR funds, Community Development Block Grant. Today we're talking about Phase 1 factors, and I am Jessie Handforth-Combe, the Deputy Director of the Office of Block Grant Assistance. Our agenda today, we're going to give you a little bit of background on the competition, and then we're going to just walk through the factors. Factor 1 for capacity, Factor 2, need, extent of the problem. Factor 3, soundness of approach. Factor 4, leverage and outcomes. And Factor 5, the long-term commitment. And we'll talk a little bit about what Phase 1 optional materials could be as part of your submission. But this is not the detailed webinar on how you should put your submission together. We'll be doing that later when we get closer to the deadline. The purpose of this presentation is to summarize the NDRC, to give you some context, to establish familiarity with the Phase 1 factors, and to discuss some of our scoring considerations that are in the NOFA and we want to bring to your attention. Note that if anything in this webinar conflicts with or doesn't seem to comport with the NOFA will prevail. It always prevails. So just briefly on NDRC background, because we do have another webinar on this. It's from the appropriation that's been sort of nicknamed the Sandy appropriation. It's Public Law 113-2. And it covers disasters that occurred from 2011, 2012, and 2013. The CDBG NDR, or National Disaster Resilience Competition, NOFA, was published on September 17th on grants.gov, and that's where you can get it. And we have guidance for those of you having trouble finding the appendices. We have guidance on our Resilient Recovery page that we'll give you the link to later in this presentation. The eligible applicants, there are only 67 eligible applicants, and one of them must apply. There are 2,100 more or less, qualified counties and tribal entities for tribal declarations. And if you're not one of the eligible applicants, but you're in a qualified area, you may want to go talk to an eligible applicant about participating with them in their application. Only the 67 eligible applicants may apply to HUD. There are a number of thresholds, one of which we've already had a webinar on, and it's the most impacted and distressed unmet recovery needs threshold. The CDBG NDR funds may only be used to meet unmet recovery needs or address unmet recovery needs in a most impacted and distressed area. Appendix G of the competition, for which we also have another webinar that you can look at, walks through the details on that threshold. The competition has 2 phases, a framing phase, and that's the phase we're talking about today, Phase 1, and an implementation or project phase. And we'll be doing a webinar on that much later. When we get closer to the deadline for Phase 1, we'll start talking to you a little bit about what would be in Phase 2 if you get invited to that. So one of the things that we'd really like to point out in the NOFA is that CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, these disaster recovery supplementals or CDBG have a unique role in disaster recovery. And what we want this competition to do is to help you envision first in Phase 1 and then implement in Phase 2 recovery projects and revitalization projects that serve multiple purposes, have co-benefits, and they position your recovering communities for a prosperous and resilient future. And that's what Phase 1 is really about, is setting you up for that positioning. So here's a summary of the scoring for Phase 1. You can see that in the second column, it shows you what the points are for each of the factors and their major subfactors. And it also shows you that some of these factors have minimums. Those minimums are the minimum score you need to get in that factor to get into the fundable range. And so those are the factors that we have a particular interest in as we walk forward through describing all of the factors and their details and getting you familiar with the factors for phase one. So what is phase one for? This is actually a question that we've been getting a lot in the Resilient Recovery at HUD.gov mailbox. So HUD is aware that the potential applicants for this competition are at varying phases in their post-disaster recovery and planning for resilience. And so we understand that you're going to be answering some of the questions that are in the framing phase in present, past, or future tense, depending on where you are in that process. And that's perfectly fine. The NOFA characterizes phase one as a framing phase. And what we want you to do is work through identifying what your needs are as a first cut and figuring out who your partners are and who your priorities should, what your priorities should be. And we want you to describe and come up with a compelling recovery concept or idea. Phase one is not about submitting a laundry list of projects. That won't be responsive to the application, to the NOFA. You need to really carefully read phase one and listen to this webinar to see what we're really looking at for phase one. You're going to see this graphic repeat over and over again in various ways because I used it for various things. But a question we're getting asked a lot is, how does geography affect allowable costs for the grant? Well, the allowable costs for the grant are in that small area that is the most impacted and distressed and unmet recovery needs area. You need the grant funds for this competition, the CDBG NDR funds, may be used to address needs, primarily to address needs in that area. If you need to go to an adjacent area to get upstream, for example, to build a flood protection project, then possibly you might reach into an adjacent area, but the primary benefit would need to be downstream in the most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs. However, the NOFA gives significant points in several factors for going through for larger areas, to the adjacent areas, to multi-county areas, to statewide or multi-state areas. We're looking to change, one of the goals of the competition, which are stated in the NOFA, is to make the widest area we can reach more resilient. So there are points for that, and you'd have to bring other resources besides these grant funds. In a way, these grant funds are intended to eventually be seed money to change how major investments and actions are taken that will improve resilience in a larger area. So why should you apply? Well, we think one of the reasons to apply is once you go through the phase one process and talk to all of your stakeholders and come up with a recovery idea, you're going to be in much better position for all of your potential investments and decisions because you will have looked at what your threats and vulnerabilities are, and you'll have a much better understanding of them, whether or not you end up winning funding in this competition. You're going to be in better position to manage your resilience and improve your resilience and your recovery. And here's the slide I promised you earlier on how to get more information. You can get more information on the competition from the website linked right at the top. You can get more information on resilience generally. Our Office of Economic Resilience here at HUD is providing links to a lot of general resilience information. The Rockefeller Foundation is in the process of contacting all of the eligible applicants because they are working in a parallel effort on resilience and helping communities think through how to respond to phase one, but more importantly, how to become more resilient. And there's links there for their website. And if you want to ask a question to HUD about the National Disaster Resilience Competition, the technical response mailbox is resilientrecovery@hud.gov, and I'm one of the people answering those emails. And we're trying to get those done as fast as possible. Right now, I think we only have one in the queue, so we've completely overcome our backlog. So with that all said as background, let's start talking about the factors. The first factor is phase one, factor one, capacity. The capacity factor is split into 4 parts. We're looking for general management capacity, cross-disciplinary technical capacity, community engagement capacity, and regional capacity. And we're not just looking at the capacity of the eligible applicant. We're looking for the capacity of the eligible applicant plus what we're calling partners. So the partner documentation would have to be submitted with the application, and the NOFA describes how to do that. But for CDBG grantees, which all of the 67 are either CDBG or CDBG-DR grantees, partners are a signal to us that after, if you win funds in phase 2 and you become a grantee, these are entities that will become co-funders under a memorandum of agreement, or they will become subrecipients, or they will become developers, or they'll be contractors. They're going to have one of the typical CDBG roles. And so, but we're saying you can bring them with you up front under a binding agreement to compete with you, and we will consider their capacity if you submit this. I'd also like to say one of the big questions we're starting to get in the mailbox, and we've put an FAQ up about, is that the NOFA does grant single source permission, which is a permission under what's now Part 85 of the regulations that allows you to not have to go through a procurement following the competition for a partner who is duly documented within the competition. It's your choice whether to take advantage of that or not. And this would be for a partner for which procurement would apply normally. So when you're building your capacity and you're putting together your capacity response, you want to think of it in like layers. And it's your ability to change things going forward with the applicant, the partners, and whatever regional coordination or regional mechanism that you decide to go with, if you decide to go with one. So let's start first with the management factor. The slide tells you that you're going to be rated on your demonstration of capacity in specific areas. We want to look at whether you know how to manage federal funds, project management, and we'll compare back and forth, so roughly on the scale of the idea that you put in your soundness of approach factor. And on your leadership capacity to coordinate if you have potential partners. And so we're looking for a lead agency that has project management capacity, knows something about quality assurance, financial management, internal controls, all of that boring stuff that really takes care of the money and gets the project done. And we want to know, and we're asking specifically, who wrote the application. And if the application is written by a professional grant writer, we're going to want to know how the applicant's involved and who made decisions on what. And this is a good place to start telling you something that, that we've said in other webinars, and that is that you do not have to answer the prompts in order that are in the NOFA. I mean, the questions may seem out of order for your, within each factor. You can reorder in your response, but we would expect you in your crosswalk checklist, which is part of your submission requirement, we'll talk about in a separate webinar, to explain to us where to find each response. So this is management. And there's a key thing to know here on management is that is under Public Law 113-2, the eligible applicant, should you become a grantee, cannot give up responsibility for any inherently governmental responsibility. You still have to take care of oversight, policy development, and financial management. And that's really important, that you can't just contract out your response to this competition and the management should you be invited to phase 2. You are, as an eligible applicant, responsible. And you have to describe to us your capacity to manage those inherently governmental responsibilities in your response. So the next area of capacity we're looking at is technical. What is the technical capacity? We're looking for cross-disciplinary capacity to design and implement a major project or a plan to get that capacity if you don't already have it. This is one of the places where the verb tense, the past, present, future, you may be in a different stage than some other entity. Describe how you're going to get, or how you have already, the technical capacity. And there's a list in phase 2, factor 2, of just sort of sample, example technical capacities that we're talking about here. There's a specific question that you cannot skip over. We're looking specifically at your capacity for science-based climate change information and your ability to analyze it to determine your current and future risks. Other risks besides climate change are up to you to identify, but the climate change one is mandatory and prompted. We want you to assess your capacity on handling anything related, civil rights related or fair housing related. We want to know how you're going to determine and understand how you're going to enhance resilience of design, particularly if your idea or concept involves a built bricks and mortar solution. We want to know how you're going to, what your capacity is to determine cost reasonableness. And this one would be across the board, but it would be especially major if you were, for example, going to run a financing mechanism or a loan fund of some kind, or even a buyout program. How do you determine cost reasonableness? And if you are coming in with no partners, or if you lose a partner between now and when the grant is given, or even after the grant comes, how are you going to reacquire capacity? Do you have a plan for that? Do you understand how to get and maintain technical capacity? The next area is engagement. And phase 1 has a very, very, very strong emphasis on consultation, community engagement. There are a lot of points bound up in related ideas here. So we want to know, what is your capacity and experience with productive engagement with a wide range of community stakeholders? Now, disaster recoveries can sometimes be contentious and difficult, even when you are doing your best to engage community stakeholders. But we want to know what your capacity and experience will be to manage this for your CDBG NDR proposal. And we have a special interest in vulnerable populations, which the NOFA defines and we talked through in a different webinar. We want you to demonstrate capacity in discussing and identifying unmet recovery and resilience needs, and designing and basically figuring out approaches to address the needs. What is your capacity through community engagement to figure out what needs are and to solicit possible solutions through community engagement? We're looking both for outreach and for feedback. So you do outreach as you're putting together your ideas and assessing needs, but also what is your experience in community engagement on getting feedback when you put ideas back out there and are trying to find out what the community responses are? And how do you process that information? What do you do with it? There is, of course, an emphasis on vulnerable populations and the businesses that serve them. The businesses that serve them are often Section 3 qualified, so that can help you with a cross-cutting requirement. And we want to know about your relationships with formal and informal community leaders, especially in your recovery that you've had to date from your qualified disaster. And then we're looking at another level. We're looking at that regional level. And what is your capacity to deal regionally? We're looking to see if you can demonstrate capacity to reach beyond the most impacted and distressed area into a larger geography in a fairly formal way. We're recommending a multi-governmental regional or statewide entity to address disaster recovery and resilience. And that's what we're assessing the response to this subfactor based on. We're looking for that bigger reach. We're strongly encouraging using a multi-entity regional organization because we've seen that be successful in some of our other grants. But it's not required, and it may not be appropriate everywhere. But we do ask the question, are your threats and hazards regional? If your threats and hazards have no boundaries, then you might want to consider reaching beyond the boundaries of the most impacted and distressed and unmet recovery needs areas and talking about your capacity to work beyond those boundaries and becoming more resilient. And you can see there's a whole second set of questions on, and a whole nother slide's worth of questions on the regional. So we're really serious about it. We're looking for experience. We're looking at your threats and hazards. We're asking, there are a lot of cases in disaster recovery where local solutions done purely locally by one town or city will negatively affect other jurisdictions. And we don't want to fund any more of that. We're trying to avoid that, so we're asking you to engage, to look regionally, to figure out solutions that enhance everyone's resilience. Sometimes a regional solution is more practical, and it's going to be more effective. We're going to ask you about that. Have you looked around for best practices? This is a good place to put in another plug for the Rockefeller Foundation effort. Give you a good chance to talk to other eligible applicants about what they may have done. And there are implications when you use a regional approach. You may be able to do a better job in addressing your responsibilities to affirmatively further fair housing, for example, and to get rid of some class-related disparities in your communities and in how communities can recover from disaster. There are a lot of protected class issues and vulnerable population issues related to disaster recovery. Okay, that's enough for factor one. For phase one, factor two, we're moving on to need extent of the problem. Not just your capacity, but now this is going to be, we're looking for clarity and thoroughness and laying out what your needs are. And we're looking for you to frame your needs in a way that's responsive, or that will set you up to be responsive to what the law allows us to fund. But you may have needs that go beyond disaster recovery, disaster relief, affordable housing, restoration of infrastructure, and economic revitalization. We're specifically looking for an evidence-based practice approach. We want you to not just assert something, but tell us what told you that that fact is a fact. Where did you learn that? What's your evidence? We want you to cite quality data sources or other evidence or information, a study or patterns of recovery or whatever it is you bring us, or information from your stakeholder outreach hearings in determining what your unmet recovery need. And you're going to have to go through the steps in Appendix G to justify at least one most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs as a result of a qualified disaster. Okay, so as I said, there's Appendix G for detail, and we also have a webinar out on that particular appendix and walking you through the most impacted and distressed threshold. So in your Factor 2 response, we want you to strongly consider regional or statewide resilience needs that can be addressed and leverage funding sources that can address needs beyond the most impacted and distressed area. We want you to specifically address present and future recovery, revitalization, and resilience needs from current and projected effects of climate change in the geography that you're considering, which may be just your most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs, or it may be a bigger area. But climate change, consideration of what science says, evidence says about the effects of climate change on your area is something that we want you to look at and consider in determining what your needs are and will be. So the most impacted and distressed, unmet recovery need threshold, you're going to complete your response to that, to Appendix G, and submit at least one area that'll help you meet the threshold. If you meet the threshold, then we'll score your application. If you want to eventually use CDBG NDR funds in more areas, then you're going to need to submit more areas and show that they also meet the threshold. But to get past the threshold to get your application scored, you only need to demonstrate one area. And that can change between if you want to do a submission on the optional 45-day submission, and you submit just one area, that doesn't preclude your coming in and submitting more areas for your actual phase 1 submission. The 45-day review is just about you being sure that you're past that particular threshold and that HUD will score your application when you submit for phase 1. You can certainly submit more areas at the 45-day and at phase 1. The two don't have to match up, the two submissions. But do remember that the CDBG NDR assistance, the grant funds, are only going to be able to assist costs for the demonstrated most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs, because that's what the law says. And it's not one of the legal requirements, the statutory requirements that HUD's allowed to waive. So these steps in the NOFAR may be out of order for you in terms of getting the job done. When you're writing your response, you're going to tell us a summary, and then you're going to respond to all of the prompts. But what you may want to actually do is do this, like when you put it together, you may want to do this out of order. Complete your Appendix G, then respond to all of the prompts, and then come back and write this summary. But when you submit it to us, we're asking for the summary to come first, and then to give us the responses to all the factors, the factor prompts. So in the summary, what we want is a narrative summary with a cross-reference to your response for the unmet recovery need, the most impacted and distressed unmet recovery need threshold requirement. And we want you to summarize your unmet needs and the characteristics and location of your most impacted and distressed target areas. So you're going to be providing a summary here. The reason that it matters that we're saying it this way is because there is no page limit on the Appendix G submission, because you're going to be submitting data there, and we don't know how big your data source may be. There is a page limit for your submission for the factor narratives, and you need to go take a look in the NOFA. So your summary here needs to really make the case and summarize your conclusions, but not lay out and give all the detail that you're going to give for your Appendix G submission. Okay? So that's why we're providing for the summary here to set up your need, your discussion of your needs. If you're going to approach your responses to the factors for a greater geography, as we strongly urge you to do, then we're going to want you to provide a summary of the characteristics and location of the larger area as well, and with a focus on its resilience needs. Okay? Use a comprehensive risk approach to analyzing need. So we've gotten a fair number of questions saying, are we only supposed to consider climate needs? Are we only supposed to consider natural disasters? Can we consider potential man-made disasters? We're saying we're okay with you using a comprehensive risk approach to analyzing need, but we're requiring you to consider needs related to climate change and the needs related to the disaster that you had, that you got into this competition and through the threshold for. So there's 5 points in this area from most impacted and distressed and your clarity and thoroughness there, and 5 points for unmet recovery needs. Describe the science-based risk approach that you will or have employed to select your project if you get selected for phase 2, or if you propose a recovery program, which is a CDBG way of saying that maybe you're going to make you're going to run a program of flood buyouts, or you're going to run a program of loans to small businesses to increase their resilience and their economic revitalization. If you're going to do either, if you're going to do a program, we want to know the approach you're going to employ to select projects and activities within your proposed program. And I want to make a special note here for if you're going to be considering a recovery program, you need to read carefully in Appendix A the deadlines for the funding, because that's going to make things a little bit tight for you. Make sure that your selection process isn't going to use up time that you're going to need to actually get stuff done and expend funds. So throughout your summary and your response to the prompts, at a minimum, we're looking for you to consider certain needs related to certain risks or threats, including climate change, in the following areas. And you can take a look at the list for yourself. One of the interesting things is that we're not listing infrastructure here. What we're looking is looking through infrastructure or affordable housing to see how it affects these other aspects of the community that we know are important for resilience. And this is a really different mindset from both emergency management and from a community development approach. So you need to read this carefully. This is the frame that your responses need to drop into, is you're going to be looking at how what you're doing is going to make your community basically more cohesive and more resilient. And we want to make sure that you don't cause cascading impacts and that you're aware of and accounting for interdependencies within and across communities. So we will accept quantitative and qualitative measures, and we do recognize, and we want you to recognize, the inherent uncertainty in any form of predictive analysis. We are not expecting you to be 100% correct. We're asking you to take an evidence-based approach and take your best shot at understanding what's likely to happen next. So when you're responding, we want you to respond to the prompts. You have to, at a minimum, answer the Factor 2 questions from the point of view of a most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs from the qualified disaster. And it's 15 points for this, for the prompts. If you respond for a larger geography, make sure you break out your most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs clearly inside your response, so we can be sure that you've done the minimum, even though you're going beyond it. So these are the actual prompts, the risk and data prompts. I broke them out into categories that made sense to me and the way we thought about it when we were putting it all together. And this may help you. Again, you don't have to answer the prompts in order if writing a narrative, a reasonable narrative, to you means that they have to go out of order. But make sure that you carefully consider every one of these questions and answer completely. If we ask you a yes or no question, we do want a hard yes or a hard no response in response, but you can also go ahead, and we encourage you to, give us a fuller response. How did you get to yes? How did you get to no? So what are your threats, hazards, and vulnerabilities? How did you identify them? Who's going to be affected by them? When are they going to be affected? Now, past, future? And you notice that we're using language that's threats, hazards, and vulnerabilities. And threats and hazards is familiar language from FEMA and other emergency programs. But vulnerabilities is a different kind of language. We're signaling to you that we want you to cross disciplines and cross community development ideas and with your emergency management, and even reach beyond that when you're thinking about your responses. We want to know what data you used and what timeframes that data covers. We want you to tell us the law directs HUD to use the best available data. Why is your data the best available data? That response will really help us to understand how we can use your data in making funding award choices eventually. And then give us a summary. Given the risks, the history of your region, your climate change projections, your demographics and development trends, and the other factors that you've identified, what risks is your community facing? What are the important ones? Lay it out for us. How serious, how likely are those risks? And are there any known unknowns? Are there some things that you just don't have data for that you think are risks, but you don't know? Let us know, where is the unknown in your community? Then there's a set of prompts around insurance. Insurance can pay a substantial portion of any recovery. So we want to know, to what extent are your public and private buildings insured or underinsured? We're starting to see communities where people have not maintained flood insurance get hit by subsequent disasters. And there's a federal rule called the one bite rule that means that it's very difficult to use any federal disaster assistance to help somebody who already took federal disaster assistance and didn't maintain flood insurance. So we want to know how much that affects you, how much you think that's likely to affect you when you analyze the data. And what factors are affecting individual and community decisions about purchasing and maintaining sufficient insurance, homeowners insurance, hazard insurance, insurance on public buildings. Okay, let's move on from the insurance prompts to the disproportionate effects prompts. We're looking for risks with disproportionate effects on any population groups. We're particularly looking, of course, for disproportionate effects related to household income or to a particular protected class. And we're looking, so will some of the risks that you're looking forward to disproportionately affect those? Also, we're looking for effects on persons with accessibility challenges. Can potential solutions that you're thinking about in your idea portion, are there any potential solutions that can benefit those with what they call functional needs? Are there solutions that you can come up with that make it easier and your community more resilient for various vulnerable populations, including lower income populations, those in a particular protected class under the civil rights laws, or those who have some disability needs? Okay, and then we're also looking for opportunity and context prompts. You know, people sometimes say, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, that kind of. We're looking for, does your identified vulnerability also offer you an opportunity for disaster recovery or economic revitalization, including resilience to current and future risks, not just to the disaster that you had? Why is addressing the risk related to the vulnerability that you're focused on, or vulnerabilities, important for your state or region and local communities? And some of this you may draw from your stakeholder discussions. Why is this important? Because remember, we're looking for compelling ideas. And are there existing conditions in your community that exacerbate your vulnerability? And this ties back again to your Appendix G response, where you may be talking to us, for example, about environmental pollution or degradation, or a significant economic downturn. Let us know if there's conditions in your community that are exacerbating your vulnerability and to the threats and risks that you've identified. And we definitely want to know about that. And then we also have, what's your status and what are your barriers prompts? What have you already done to address the risks from this vulnerability or vulnerabilities that you've identified? And what barriers, what's keeping you from already completing a solution? Is it just funding, or are there other things, or had you not realized until you'd gone through this effort that you had this risk at the level you have it? But what has kept you from completing a solution? Okay? And again, you may want to finish the responses on this factor, responses to the prompt and your Appendix G threshold response before you go back and summarize for us and do the summary. But that's up to you. Okay, phase 1, factor 3, soundness of approach. And we took an unusual approach on soundness of approach. And that is that we looked at consultation plus your idea at equal weighting equal to a sound approach. So this is in 2 sections. One is the consultation section, and we will be having a separate webinar on consultation related to NOFA. And the second section is your idea or concept, your big idea. Overall, we're looking for clarity, thoroughness, completeness, inclusion of the input from, needs of, and potential benefits to vulnerable populations and the businesses that employ and serve them. Your minimal stakeholder consultation has to be with your vulnerable populations and your adjacent areas and your own citizens. But we're going to be asking you to go bigger and look at a bigger area. So your minimum consultation, and the graph, the pretty picture changed just a little bit here. You can see the minimum is now not just your most impacted and distressed target area, it also includes the adjacent areas, and that's your minimum, but there are more points for reaching further. Don't you like how I get to reuse this graphic over and over again with just, changing labels? Sometimes PowerPoint's worth it. Okay, so let's talk about the consultation subfactor. In consultation, you're going to be evaluated based on the overall breadth of your consultation and planned consultation, if you haven't completed it yet, with regional local governments, state agencies, and stakeholders, and their involvement in framing issues and determining priorities. So we believe that discussion with stakeholders is going to increase your understanding of their recovery needs, how it fits into the bigger picture, what their community development issues may be, and priority vulnerabilities that need addressing. You can provide data and technical assistance to make your stakeholders, to increase their ability to understand and respond. And we urge you to do that. That's eligible CDBG planning cost. And it's something that it's a very CDBG way of doing things, is to help your stakeholders with data so that they can respond better to you. So under consultation, we're going to be asking the specific prompts are, what are your plans for collaboration, outreach, communication, and what have you already discussed? So you see we're giving you past, present, future. You can work with the verb tenses here wherever you are in the process. Who are your stakeholders and how have you worked with them? How are you going to continue working with stakeholders if you're selected to go on to phase 2 to implementation? How have you involved the greater community, especially vulnerable populations, in the development of your proposal? And we ask, how have you worked with advocacy groups or directly with vulnerable populations to best identify their needs and involve their needs in the proposed approach? And still on consultation, because we think it's really important, do any of your discussions with stakeholders bring to light potential cumulative impacts of your risk and vulnerabilities? Those of you who are familiar with the environmental review requirements, this is one of the environmental review consultation requirements playing through. As we told you in an earlier webinar, the one overviewing the entire competition, we've done a lot to sew in environmental consultation requirements throughout the consultation elements. And the consultation webinar is going to talk more about this. It should help you launch faster should you be selected for phase 2 and receive an award. So have you discussed the indirect risks and vulnerabilities in the environment of your most impacted and distressed area, and optionally the greater area, with particular attention to sources of contamination, such as wastewater treatment facilities or brownfields. Again, this is important for community development reasons and important for environmental planning and environmental review. And how have the results of collaboration with your stakeholders affected your proposal? We actually don't just want to hear your, they asked us this and we told them that. We want to hear a description of how you got stakeholder input and how it shaped your proposal and how you worked with that information source and with the knowledge that you got of their needs. And we want you to provide a summary of the consultation process, and there's a consultation summary form in Appendix I. If you're selected for Phase 2, you will update that as part of Phase 2. But there's a Phase 1 submission that's required of this consultation summary form. Okay, so on to the second piece, the idea or concept. An idea or concept does not have to be a project. In fact, probably shouldn't be a single project. Though what we're going to be looking at you and evaluating on is based on innovativeness, which, by the way, I know is not a word, but it gets the idea across. We're looking for something new, some new combination of things, not necessarily a new technology at all. We're looking at, is this new to your community? You brought in a best practice, or you thought of a different way to combine things and get co-benefits from things. We're looking for the relevance of your idea or concept to the needs that you told us about and your community development objectives, and to your recovery, and the extent at which the idea has cross-disciplinary or greater regional approaches. And we're also looking on a special focus on issues of importance to vulnerable populations, or we wouldn't be CDBG. So, that's a lot to put in and put on an idea. We give you some links in the NOFA to, for example, Rebuild by Design, if you'd like to take a look at some of those ideas. And again, participating in Rockefeller will help you generate ideas and really think about ideas or concepts that would be good to result from your framing, to talk about resilience, to express what you want to do going forward. We're trying to leave a lot of room here for your response. And what we see Phase 2 as in the implementation phase is that you will be lifting a project out of your Phase 1 idea or concept and showing us with that project, it'll be a piece of or a way of implementing your concept. And it may not be the whole solution. Your concept could be for a much bigger area, but you're just lifting out a starting phase for a starting project in your most impacted and distressed area. So the idea or concept could be for a bigger area. What we're going to ask you for, these are the prompts, is do you have an idea or concept that will address your identified unmet needs and the risks and opportunities of your vulnerability, threats, hazards, in a way that's going to make you more resilient? What's your idea? Are you going to build something, relocate something, finance something? We're looking for whether you're open to alternatives, or are you considering alternatives, or are you locked into a particular approach? And this is an open question. There aren't more points on one side of this than the other. This is an informational question. We're really interested. Are you locked in, or are you still considering alternatives? But also the alternatives question also ties back to environmental review again, where you have to consider alternatives. What actions have you already taken to become more resilient? Are you wanting to augment or replace those existing actions? How are you going to make sure your idea is going to be feasible and effective at supporting recovery and resilience? And there's like levels and levels of feasibility, right? Feasibility can mean it's feasible that you're capable of carrying out and implementing the project, and it can also mean that it's engineering feasible. How are you going to figure out feasibility and effectiveness? How have you figured it out? And we're really only interested in long-term or permanent resilience, so we're asking you how your idea provides long-term or permanent resilience. And then we've got, I've got a word highlighted here. It's not highlighted in the NOFA, but we use this word co-benefits a lot. Want to know if you're considering potential co-benefits of implementing your idea. For example, if you look at some of the Rebuild by Design proposals, they're not just berms. They are berms that provide recreation and habitat and community development objectives. Some of them even solutions provide space for additional affordable housing where there was no space. They have co-benefits. Those are good investments. They're better than just building a berm in a lot of cases. So we're looking for what are the co-benefits of implementing your idea. Are there ways that you can show that there's integrated thinking across disciplines that came into setting up your idea, looking at the phase 2 of the capacity factor, those lists, design thinking, iterative thinking. How does your proposal involve and address the needs of the residents at small businesses that are the least resilient or most vulnerable to your future threats and hazards, including future effects that may be caused by climate change? Again, we're making sure that among all the risks and hazards, we want you to for sure address risks that you may have identified related to climate change. The other risks and hazards that you identify are up to you and will be locally contingent. So how is your idea going to affect adjacent areas? Is it going to affect them positively or negatively? I bet you can guess which way we would like to have the answer go. What are the local and regional interdependencies of your idea across sectors and geography? So, and how have you collaborated or will you collaborate with your neighbors to learn about and consider these issues if you haven't already? Can you resolve your vulnerability completely inside your own power, or do you have to work with other units of general local governments or states or regional organizations to resolve it? And then we ask you a series of questions related to that kind of cross-jurisdictional cooperation, consultation, and coordination. And we're looking to see if you have any formal mechanisms already in place or whether you're considering any formal mechanisms on a regional level. And then finally on your idea, we want you to characterize your overall approach to resilience now and in the foreseeable future. Again, if you decide you want to answer within the idea subfactor, you want to answer in a different order, you can do that. This is the order that made sense to us, but maybe when you're working through the idea subfactor, you're going to want to put things in a different order. That's fine. You just need to make sure that you cover everything. And I know there's a whole lot of HUD staff hearing this webinar who are going, I wish you wouldn't say that. But we're trying to make it so that you can express this in the most logical way, the most compelling way to you. It doesn't have to be in the order that we imagined. So characterize your overall approach, and we have a series of prompts related to what's your approach to resilience. Again, we're making sure that you know you have to incorporate the risks associated with climate change if you've identified any. And we ask you some specific questions. We want to know if you're participating in the National Flood Insurance Program community rating system. We want, which you may not be aware of yet, but we want to know if you are participating in any local, state, national, international program that rates your overall community commitment to resilience in some way. If yes, please describe that. We want to know that you already are working on this and what your rating is and how where you're going with it, where you expect to get to. And we're also specifically interested to know whether you have a state or a community climate change adaptation plan and what specific actions you may already be envisioning based on that plan. And so that is where your commitment, your consultation plus your idea is going to be equal to your sound approach. Now, phase 1, factor 4, leverage and outcomes. It should actually be outcomes and leverage, but because that's the order it goes in. But the title says leverage and outcomes in the NOFA, so I said leverage and outcomes here, and then switched it at a little graphic at the top. So outcomes is not going to be a surprise. It's consisting of measuring how well you meet your objectives. And this doesn't just mean national objectives. It also means your community development objectives and your resilience objectives. Leverage we broadened out here. And it's not only going to be leverage related to planning, design, construction, or implementation resources for your eventual phase 2 project. It also consists of, will allow you to tell us how you're going to maintain or expand your improvement into the future, because maintenance really isn't CDBG NDR eligible. And if a resilience investment, a bricks and mortar investment isn't maintained, then it's really not going to make you more resilient in the long haul. We want to know for leverage and outcomes, we're letting you know that we know that designing things deliberately to make sure that they're maintainable, that they're sustainable, and frequently green and natural resource, like berms that have habitat are going to be more sustainable. We want to let you know that we're aware that maintaining things across time is easier if you design it correctly in the first place. And so design costs are something that they're CDBG NDR eligible, and there's something we want you to think about. Leverage may also include extending your resilience investments beyond the most impacted and distressed areas and getting resilience in a wider area. And we're going to talk more about that in Factor 5, but it also enters into the ideas of leverage here in this phase 1 leverage factor. So let's talk a little about outcomes. On outcomes, you're going to be evaluated based on the degree to which your responses indicate that you're going to try to achieve multiple objectives: disaster recovery, community development, objectives including vulnerability and risk reduction, future benefits, and the degree to which you're seeking co-benefits for your proposed approach. Then that you're planning to measure and evaluate those benefits. I mean, really, you almost need to think about outcomes even earlier than this, because you should be coming up with an idea that achieves what your priority goals are. You want a certain population to be more resilient, or you want to make maybe your whole community more resilient in certain ways so that it's affected less by perhaps future droughts or future flooding. And you know what level of protection you want. You know what your outcome is that you want. We want to know how long you want your solution to last. We want to know what you're considering, whether you're considering infrastructure solutions that provide co-benefits. If you're thinking about hardening or reseeding your community, hardening people, a community that's already there, or trying to get people to move someplace safer. Whether or not your idea involves infrastructure or bricks and mortar investments, what are the potential co-benefits of implementing your idea? And how are you going to measure them? How can your idea be implemented in an environmentally and financially sustainable way? Because you're not going to achieve the outcome if you don't. implement in some kind of sustainable way. We're looking at whether your response can get an outcome beyond just the work by being an opportunity to bring one or more potential community assets that are now fallow or problematic or underemployed, to bring unemployed persons or abandoned property or Section 3 residents and businesses into place or into condition that will help economically revitalize your most impacted and distressed target area and your region or state. What is success going to look like to you? And how are you going to measure it? What are your specific program evaluation factors that you will measure and incorporate in your Phase 2 proposal if you're selected? How do you know if what you've decided to do works? So now let's talk about leverage. You're going to be evaluated and leveraged in two ways. There's actually prompts here where we want in Phase 1 for you to talk about leverage and respond to some prompts. And there's more points on those prompts than there is on bringing money to the table in this Phase 1 application. But we are going to look at both. For leverage, we're looking at essentially two kinds of leverage. Normally, a HUD competition, we're looking at leverage into a CDBG or other grant source, the actual project itself, as a match or cost share, or not match or cost share, but just leverage into the project. In this case, we're also looking at leverage as, because our funds can only fund in the most impacted and distressed target area with unmet recovery needs, we're also looking at leverage as supporting leverage, leverage in the surrounding area, leverage in the larger area if you decide to go adjacent or regional. So, and in a way, we're also looking at leverage when we get to Factor 5, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we look at your long-term commitment. So you're going to be evaluated on the degree to which you demonstrate commitment as an indicator of support in the community for this overall effort, and the extent to which your response to the factors indicates that you've thoroughly explored potential funding and financing sources. And the reason this is really important here is that the $1 billion that we are bringing to the table really won't go far in addressing the resilience needs nationally. We should get some compelling examples and some best practices out of this competition, but what really, really matters to resilience going forward is the investments that states and local governments, localities and tribes and authorities are spending every day, and that businesses are investing every day, and that developers and residents, homeowners are investing every day to change how those investments are made so that they make you more resilient, as well as achieving their other normal goals and their regular course of business goals. That's what we're trying to do when we're trying to reach that on the leverage factor, on the long-term commitment factor. So what local or regional partners or resources are you aware of that could potentially address the implementation and maintenance aspects of your response to your vulnerability? And what conversations have you had? We're specifically looking at insurers and reinsurers. And for those of you that are local governments, maybe you're not having these conversations, but very, very likely your states are, or have some people that have been talking to insurers and reinsurers. And talk about how your issues and vulnerabilities can affect your risk considerations and maybe even your insurance premiums or just the availability of coverage at all in your area. Especially in your most impacted and distressed areas. And how could your idea affect those risk considerations and maybe attract co-funding from insurers or other community stakeholders who might be interested in getting their premiums down if they could be more resilient, if the community as a whole could be more resilient. So, talking to a major, major resource like that, because government does not always, in fact, often does not provide the majority of funding for a recovery. There are a lot of other resources out there, a lot of other players, and we want to see if you are involving those players and considering that as leverage. So look for your co-benefits on environmental and human health, workforce development. How can those co-benefits possibly contribute toward financing? And there's another way of looking at this, turn it around. You can turn it around and say, alternatively, what are you saving? What will you not have to spend? If you get this resilience in place, maybe you can stop bailing. You know, if you can prevent an area of flooding or keep people from living in that area, what are you not going to have to spend to keep those areas unflooded and safe? So what's the savings there? What are the streams of public funding that are likely to be used differently because of those co-benefits? And for how long? And to what extent do you have any commitments that extend the reach of your idea or concept beyond the most impacted and distressed area eligible for the CDBG NDR funding? How far does your idea indicate that your project might extend or your proposal might extend? So we're going to take a look on commitments. We're looking specifically at the standard is firm commitments. To the extent that you have firm commitments at the time of your phase 1 submission to support planning and potential future implementation activities, you have to demonstrate this in accordance with Factor 4 Phase 2, which has the detailed instructions. We decided not to clog the NOFA up by printing them in twice. We're just giving 1 point for a total commitment of direct financial assistance in an amount not less than $50,000 for planning or implementation costs at phase 1, and 2 points if the amount is not less than $250,000. So really the response to the narrative factors is more important in this leverage factor for phase 1. Although we'd be happy if you show up with money. But if you take a look at phase 2, you can see it becomes much more important there. And we are going to require, and you can see in both the NOFA and in the Appendix A, that if you pledge leverage, you're going to be setting it up in DRGR if you get an award, and we will be tracking it. If one of your sources falls away, we're going to still hold you to the pledged amount. So you need to think about that and make sure you have a plan for anything you pledge that you can make that amount up if you have to. Resources have to be firmly committed as of the application deadline date. That would be in March 16th for phase 1. And firmly committed is described in the NOFA, and there's a lot of additional details here about leverage that should be very, very, very familiar to those of you who have worked with competitive applications that require leverage, match, cost share, what have you. We do say that if your sending in commitment letters, that's good. We want the commitment letters, but just letters of support that aren't commitment letters for funding, those won't be considered, and they'll just run you over your page limits. We're not looking for just we support them. We're looking for we support them and we're giving them money for this specific thing and signed by the right person, like a CEO of an agency, somebody who's authorized to actually make a legally binding financial commitment. And we're not going to count as leverage staff time or benefits for the applicant or partners. That's not an eligible leverage source. We're really interested in cash money. This is a long list of who can support, provide leverage funding, and it ends with other private funders. So basically, any kind of public, private, or nonprofit entity can commit leverage. There are situations where regular CDBG funds or CDBG DR funds could also be considered as leverage, but you should read the fine print, which is all there, and there's some in Appendix A, so make sure that you take a look at that. And we want to talk a little bit about supporting commitments because it's a different idea. Supporting commitments may be something where the example we give in the NOFA is of a university professor who's doing a study in your area that you're maybe for a larger area than your most impacted and distressed area, but you're able to use that data and to determine how to select a project or to set a priority. So that supporting commitment could be, you know, as we lay out, it doesn't include in-kind contributions like meeting space or staff time, but we adopted this from the Choice Neighborhoods NOFA, and we think it'll be useful because there's so much planning and so many studies involved in Phase 1. So take a look at the supporting commitment. It's available, that your partners have available for their use, and they can carry out activities that directly support your proposal, whether it's for just your most impacted and distressed area or for a larger area. To the extent to which CDBG-DR or your CDBG NDR funds, should you be award them, would be considered match or cost share for another program, we're not going to consider those funds leverage. We just want to count them once as the federal government, not over and over again. Okay, so let's take a look at the long-term commitment factor. Now, this factor is really, really important because if you do not describe a significant or major step you have already taken or are considering seriously and you commit yourself to increasing resilience in your jurisdiction, regardless of whether you receive a CDBG NDR award, if you do not take a long-term commitment toward resilience, you will not get invited to Phase 2. So the points on this factor are important for your scoring, but what's really important is that you make a long-term commitment. And guess what? We have the same graphic back, and I think you're probably not going to be surprised that if you take the long-term commitment for your most impacted and distressed and unmet recovery area with unmet recovery needs, that's the minimum. You must measurably enhance resilience in your most impacted and distressed area with unmet recovery needs. But you get more points if you go for a bigger area. And you notice here we went for adjacent areas, multi-county region, state, or multi-state region. So we're thinking really big. And we want you to think really big. The commitment time frame. HUD is only going to award points for Phase 1 or invite an applicant to Phase 2 if it has already taken after the date of the qualified disaster or firmly commits to take within 1 year of the announcement of Phase 2 results, one or more actions improving permanent resilience in a geography, including at a minimum, the most impacted and distressed target area. So to get points for this factor, you're going to have to, remember our outcome measures, you're going to have to provide a baseline and a goal outcome measure for at least one metric: number of persons, households, businesses, acres of land, structures for XX years, expected to become positively protected by each action or commitment, and you're going to have to tell us what protection they're going to receive. You must also provide the actual or planned effective date of any change. There are examples provided in Phase 2, Factor 5 for categories of changes that will be highly considered by HUD. And you're going to be evaluated taking into account the geographic scale of the area served by the resilience improvement or protection, the degree to which the action, as you describe it, will clearly result in a significant improvement or protection, and the degree to which the action will result in an improvement from the status or policy baseline, which you're going to have to give us for the area before the date of the qualified disaster. We are going to pay special attention to actions taken after the date of NOFA publication, of the NDRC NOFA publication, which was September 17th. But the real beginning date is the date of your qualified disaster. So the broad commitment categories that you can look at in phase 2 are lessons learned from your phase 1 efforts and your considerations of your needs and vulnerabilities and priorities and actions taken as a result of your lessons learned. This is the general category. If it doesn't fit in one of the lower categories, this is where you would describe what your action is going to be. We're looking for legislative actions, that you have taken some action that will permanently increase your resilience, your community's resilience. We're looking for raising standards above the minimums. So if you, for example, are going from your requiring rebuilding at advisory base flood elevation +1 to advisory base flood elevation +4, and that you're requiring that for this recovery and all future recoveries, that would be raising standards above the minimum. One example. There are lots of other standards, building code standards, a lot of other standards that apply to different kinds of disasters, seismic standards, for example. Whether you've aligned plans, the consolidated plan, FEMA plans, hazard mitigation plans, transportation plans, whether you've aligned them in a way that is going to promote greater resilience. And you can tell us how that will measurably increase resilience in your area. And whether you have any resilience-related financing, credit, or insurance changes that you're going to make that will make your community more resilient. So those are categories that we're specifically looking for. And again, there's much more detail that you can look for ideas in the phase 2, factor 5. Now, I just want to note that I told you earlier there were page limits for phase 1. We're also allowing submission of optional materials. If you want to give optional materials that help us understand your application better, as you go forward, if there are things that really help your consultation process, or that really help, that you think will help us understand your idea or concept, you can give us maps, drawings, renderings, and other graphical representations of your overall project proposal or target area. Just show us the geography. That's optional, but we do encourage it, and there are submission instructions in the NOFA for that. But you should know that the text on optional materials needs to be limited, essentially to labels and legends, and that it's not going to be used, this optional material, for purposes of scoring your factor responses. We're going to actually read the narrative for that. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope that this has helped make you a little bit more familiar with the phase 1 factors. And again, resilient recovery at HUD.gov is where you can send questions. And we really hope to see your phase 1 submission in March. Thank you.